There is something the banks are quietly doing to senior accounts right now in 2026, and almost nobody is sitting you down to warn you about it properly. And before I say another word, I am going to do something the other videos on this subject consistently refuse to do. I'm going to tell you exactly what it is in plain, straightforward English right now, instead of stringing you along for 10 minutes and then leaving you with absolutely nothing useful. Because I have watched those videos too. The ones that scream about banks targeting seniors, build the dread for 10 solid minutes, and then explain not a single concrete thing. And I think that is genuinely disgraceful. You are a capable adult who has managed your own money your entire life, and you deserve far better than a scare tactic and a wasted 10 minutes. So here is the honest truth delivered up front. The banks are not literally banning you from anything. What they are actually doing is quietly changing how they handle your money, closing the branches you have trusted for decades, pushing you toward machines and apps that are crawling with sophisticated scams, and counting on the fact that nobody ever sat you down and showed you how to protect yourself inside this new system. And every single one of those changes falls hardest on seniors. My name is Markus Graves, and I am going to walk you through 6 specific things the banks are quietly doing, one at a time, and on every single one, I am going to hand you the exact move that protects you. A move you can make today, completely free of charge. Stay with me all the way to the end because the final one involves your Social Security money and your legal rights to it. And it is the one that costs people the most when they do not know about it. But before we get into the 6, I want to clear up the biggest misunderstanding about a video like this, because it is the exact reason people click away and miss the part that could have saved them thousands of dollars. People assume a video like this is only for one particular type of senior. Either they figure it is only for people who are struggling financially and counting every single dollar. So if they are reasonably comfortable, they tune out. Or they assume it is only for people who are not comfortable with technology, so if they bank online without much trouble, they decide it does not apply to them. Both of those assumptions are wrong. This list is for every single one of you. Whether you have never touched a smartphone and you handle everything through a teller, or you manage all of your banking from your kitchen table on an app, there is something on this list that protects money you genuinely cannot afford to lose. Because the honest truth is that banks are quietly changing the rules on seniors at every income level, and the scammers are actively targeting all of you, just in different ways. The senior counting every dollar and the comfortable retiree with a solid cushion are both targets. Please do not tune out. Before I give you the 6, let me explain why all of this is happening. Because once you understand the motivation behind these changes, every single one of them makes perfect sense, and you will never be fooled by them again. Here is the pattern. Every one of these changes either saves the bank money or makes the bank money. Closing a branch saves them the cost of the building, the utilities, and the staff. Pushing you onto an app saves them from paying employees to help you with your questions. And here is the part almost nobody will say to your face directly: when something goes wrong, when you get skimmed at a machine, tricked over the phone, or have your card number stolen, the bank's very first instinct is to search for a reason to call it your fault. And do you know why? Because if they can determine it was your fault, then under the current rules, they frequently do not have to return your money. So understand what is actually happening here. The entire system has been quietly redesigned to shift the risk off the bank and onto you, the customer. And the customer who suffers the worst every single time is the senior who was never warned that the rules had changed. That is exactly what we are correcting today. The one idea that ties all 6 of these together is simple. The bank is not going to protect you. You are going to protect yourself. And the good news, the reason I am genuinely glad to share this with you, is that protecting yourself costs nothing. It is straightforward once someone actually takes the time to show you how. So let us begin. The first thing banks are quietly doing, pushing you toward ATM machines that are more dangerous now than ever before. The moment I say the word ATM, I know a lot of you are already nodding. You already do not trust them. Good. Your instinct is correct. Today, I am going to make that instinct sharper and more specific. There are two scams hitting seniors at ATM machines right now, and you need to know both of them by name. The first is called skimming. A criminal attaches a small device directly over the real card slot, along with a tiny hidden camera or a fake keypad placed over the original. The moment you insert your card and enter your PIN, that device copies everything. Your card number, your code, all of it. You walk away completely unaware. 3 days later, your account is drained to zero. The second scam is newer, more vicious, and specifically designed for the machines seniors are increasingly forced to use. It is called cash trapping. The criminal inserts a thin device into the slot where your money is supposed to come out. You complete your withdrawal, the screen tells you the cash has been dispensed, the bank's computer records that you received the money, but nothing actually comes out because it is trapped behind their device. You assume the machine is broken, you leave in frustration, and the moment you are out of sight, the criminal walks up, removes the device, and walks away with your money. Because the bank's records show the transaction as completed, getting that money back becomes a genuine ordeal. Here is exactly how you protect yourself, and every bit of it is free. Before using any machine, grab the card slot firmly and wiggle it. A skimmer is glued or taped on top, and it will feel loose, wobbly, or slightly bulky. If anything feels off or out of place, walk away and find a different machine. Always cover the keypad with your free hand as you type your PIN, every single time, because that one simple habit defeats the hidden camera completely. And here is the critical move for the cash trapping scam. If you complete a withdrawal and no money comes out, do not walk away. Stay exactly where you are. Call your bank immediately. If the branch is closed, call the non-emergency police line, because there is a real possibility a cash trap is in operation, and the criminal is standing nearby waiting for you to give up and leave. And whenever you possibly can, use a machine inside a bank lobby or built into the exterior wall of an actual branch. Not a standalone unit sitting in a gas station, a convenience store, or a parking lot. Those freestanding machines in unmonitored locations are where criminals install their devices. Machines inside branches under security cameras are significantly harder to tamper with. That is number one. The second thing banks are quietly doing, closing the branches you trust and eliminating the tellers you depend on. This one makes people genuinely angry. And it should, because it is not your imagination, and it is not nostalgia. Banks have closed many thousands of branches over the past several years, and they very often target older neighborhoods and rural communities where seniors live. Then they have the audacity to act surprised when you do not feel comfortable with the machine they left behind as a replacement. I read a message from a man who said every single branch near him had closed. His only option for withdrawing cash or depositing a check was a single machine at the local grocery store. His entire monthly income was his Social Security check. That is not convenience. That is a bank quietly abandoning him and calling it modernization. Here is what you do about it. First, know your rights and exercise them without apology. You are fully entitled to walk into any open branch and use a human teller at no charge. And you should, especially for anything that matters. Large withdrawals, large deposits, or anything that confuses or concerns you. Do not ever allow them to make you feel like a burden or an inconvenience for wanting to deal with a real human being. That is your money. Second, seriously consider a credit union. A credit union is not a bank. It is owned by its members, by ordinary people like you, not by shareholders demanding maximum profit every quarter. Credit unions are well known for keeping physical branches open, for genuine human service, and for treating older members with patience, rather than steering them toward an app and walking away. Many seniors who have made the switch will tell you it was one of the best financial decisions of their retirement. And moving your accounts is far simpler than most people expect. Third, if you are genuinely stuck using machines, call your bank and ask specifically which ATMs are inside their network. Every time you use an out-of-network machine, you can be charged $3, $4, even $5 in fees. On a fixed income, used several times a week, that quietly adds up to real money over the course of a year. That is number 2. The third thing banks are quietly doing, hiding a powerful protection they built for you and then never told you about. This is one of the very few places where the bank actually created something genuinely useful for your protection, and then chose never to mention it exists. It is the ability to instantly lock your debit and credit cards. I need you to listen closely here, because this single feature would stop a significant percentage of all the fraud that hits seniors. And almost none of you are using it, simply because nobody told you it was there. Most banks today allow you to lock your debit and credit cards instantly. If you use a smartphone, it is typically a single button inside the banking app. And for those of you who do not use apps, this still matters. You can very often accomplish the exact same thing by simply calling your bank and asking them to lock the card for you. When your card is locked, it will not work for anyone. Not a thief who copied your number, not a skimmer, not a scammer who purchased your card information on the dark web. It is completely inactive until you re-enable it. Here is how the most security-conscious seniors use this feature. They keep the card locked by default as their permanent normal state, and they only unlock it for the 2 or 3 minutes they actually need to make a purchase. Then they lock it right back. Think about how powerful that is. Even if a criminal has your complete card number sitting in front of them, it is utterly useless because the card is locked and nothing will process. In addition to that, turn on transaction alerts. You can have your bank send you a text message or an email every single time your card is used, even for a single dollar. That way, the instant something happens that you did not authorize, you know about it immediately and can shut it down the same day, rather than discovering it weeks later buried in a paper statement when the trail has gone completely cold. If you use a smartphone, open your banking app today and find both the lock card button and the alert settings. If you do not use a smartphone, pick up the phone and call your bank today and ask 2 specific questions. Can I lock my card by calling you whenever I need to? And can you set up alerts to notify me by phone, text, or mail whenever there is unusual activity on my account? Most banks will say yes to both, and the overwhelming majority of seniors never think to ask. That is number 3. The fourth thing, banks are quietly doing, leaving you completely exposed to the most dangerous scam targeting seniors today. And the cruel part is that this one does not happen at a machine at all. It happens in your own home, on your own phone, in the place where you feel safest. It is called the impostor call, or the bank fraud department scam. And I need you to truly understand how this works, because it was specifically engineered to deceive careful, intelligent, experienced people. The exact kind of person who is absolutely certain it could never happen to them. Here is how it unfolds. Your phone rings. The person on the other end is calm, polished, and professional. They tell you they are calling from your bank's fraud department. They say they have detected suspicious activity on your account, and they are reaching out because they want to help protect your money. And here is the terrifying part. They may already know your name, your home address, and even the last 4 digits of your card, because that information has been exposed in data breaches over the years. And they use those real details to sound completely credible. Then comes the trap. They tell you that in order to keep your money safe, you need to act right now. They say you need to transfer your funds to a new secure account they have set up, or read them a verification code that just arrived by text on your phone, or confirm your password or your full card number. And because you are frightened, and because they sound so official and so helpful, good, intelligent, careful people do exactly what they are told. And the moment you move that money or read them that code, it is gone permanently. And because you authorized it with your own hands, the bank will very often refuse to return it. Here is the rule that protects you. Write this down. Tape it to the wall next to your phone if you have to. Your bank will never, ever call you and ask you to move your money somewhere else to keep it safe. They will never ask you to read them a code they just sent to your phone. They will never request your full password or your complete card number over a call they initiated. Never. Those are the precise things only a criminal asks for. So if anyone calls claiming to represent your bank, the correct response every single time, with no exceptions, is to hang up. Not after explaining yourself, not politely, just hang up. Then, if you are concerned the call might have been genuine, call your bank yourself using the number printed on the back of your own card or on your paper statement. Never a number the caller provided. If the call was real, the bank will simply pick up where things left off. No harm done. And if it was a scam, you just protected your entire life savings with one simple action. Say it to yourself. Never move money because someone called you. That is number 4. And it is the scam that empties senior bank accounts faster than any other. Before I give you the final 2, including the 5th one that directly affects your Social Security money, I want to share something that works hand in hand with everything we have covered. Everything so far has been about protecting the money you already have, but there is an equally important other side to this: the money you are owed and have never claimed. The tax breaks, exemptions, and deductions that the majority of seniors over 65 leave sitting untouched year after year, simply because nobody ever explained they existed. I put together a completely free checklist: 5 tax deductions seniors must claim before 2028. It walks you through the biggest senior tax breaks that are approaching expiration, starting with a new senior deduction that can remove $4,000 from your tax bill or $8,000 for a married couple, plus exactly how to claim each one and the deadlines you cannot afford to miss. It is free, written in plain English, and you can print it out and check it off one line at a time at your kitchen table. To get it, go to markusgraves.com/checklist. That link is also sitting right in the description below this video. Grab it now before we finish, because protecting the money you have and claiming the money you are owed are simply 2 halves of the exact same job. Now, let us finish strong. The 5th thing banks are quietly doing, leaving you exposed to instant payment scams. This involves apps with names like Zelle and other send money now services that are now built directly into your banking app. These tools move money instantly, and once the money is sent, it is gone, just as permanently as handing cash to a stranger on the street. There is no undo button, no holding period, no calling the bank to reverse it the way you could with an old paper check. The scammers know this, which is exactly why they push their victims toward these apps. For seniors, it shows up in 2 primary ways. The first is the impostor call we just covered, where someone walks you through transferring money yourself. The second is the grandparent scam, where someone calls in a panic claiming to be your grandchild or a lawyer representing your grandchild, saying there has been an accident or an arrest, and they desperately need money sent immediately. And please do not tell mom and dad. It is engineered specifically to make you act out of love and fear before you have time to think clearly. Here is your protection. Treat any instant money app exactly the same way you would treat a stack of physical cash, because that is precisely what it is. Only ever send money through one of these services to a person you personally know and have actually spoken to on a number you dialed yourself. If anyone, and I mean anyone, pressures you to send money immediately, that urgency itself is the biggest red flag you will ever encounter. Real institutions and real family emergencies do not require you to move money in the next 90 seconds. And if a call comes in about a grandchild in trouble, hang up and immediately call your grandchild or another family member on the number you already have for them. 9 times out of 10, you will find them safe at home with no idea anyone used their name. That is number 5. The 6th thing banks are quietly doing, leaving you in the dark about your legal rights to your Social Security money. This is why I asked you to stay until the end. And it involves 2 things every senior must understand. The first is the steady shift away from paper checks. The government has been moving toward direct deposit and government-issued debit cards, like the Direct Express card, for years now. And honestly, direct deposit is genuinely safer than a paper check sitting in your mailbox waiting to be stolen. That part is good news. But here is what your bank will never sit you down and explain. When your Social Security funds land in your bank account, they carry a special legal protection that most people have absolutely no idea exists. Federal benefit money, including Social Security, is generally shielded from most debt collectors. Federal rules actually require your bank to automatically protect a certain amount of those benefit deposits, even if a creditor is attempting to freeze or garnish your account. But here's the problem. Banks do not always handle this correctly. Sometimes they freeze the entire account anyway. And if that ever happens to you, you need to understand with complete clarity that your Social Security funds are protected and that you have the right to challenge an improper freeze. Do not simply accept it. The second thing is holds and account freezes more broadly. Many seniors do not realize that the money sitting in your account is, in a strict legal sense, under the bank's control until they choose to release it. And a bank can place a hold on a deposit or freeze an entire account when they suspect a problem, sometimes a problem that does not even exist. Here is how you protect your Social Security. Keep your benefit funds in an account that is not entangled with other obligations or old debts so that those deposits are clearly identifiable as protected benefit money. Watch your direct deposit every single month and report any discrepancy the very day you notice it. If your funds are ever frozen or held, call the bank immediately and state clearly and firmly that those funds are protected Social Security benefits. And if the bank refuses to make it right, file a complaint with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, a federal agency that exists for exactly this purpose and is completely free to use. And if you use the Direct Express card, protect that card number with your life. Treat it exactly like a stack of cash, because that is precisely what it is. That is number 6, and it protects the money you depend on to live. Tying all 6 together. Let me bring all of this back to the one idea that matters more than any individual tip I shared today. The bank is not your protector. I genuinely wish I could tell you otherwise, but everything we just covered points in the same unmistakable direction. They will close your branch to cut their costs. They will push you toward machines that criminals have learned to exploit. They will build you a card lock feature and never breathe a word about it. They will let an impostor drain your account over the phone and then search for a reason to call it your fault. They will send your money instantly with no mechanism to retrieve it. And they will sit on your protected Social Security funds and quietly hope you never learn your rights. This is not because every single person working at a bank is dishonest. It is because the entire system has been quietly restructured to transfer the risk away from them and onto you. And the only person in this entire picture who is genuinely going to look out for your money is you. But here is the genuine good news. And it is the entire reason I made this video. Every single one of these protections is completely free, and every single one is straightforward once someone actually explains it. Wiggle the card slot and cover the keypad. Walk into a branch or switch to a credit union. Lock your card and turn on your alerts. Hang up the phone and call the bank back yourself. Treat instant payment apps exactly like cash. Guard your Social Security funds and know your rights. That is the complete list. That is exactly how a senior transforms from being an easy target into being among the hardest people in the world to steal from. And before you leave, I want to remind you one final time about that free checklist, because it truly is the other half of protecting yourself. While you are locking down the money you already have, you should not be leaving the money you are legitimately owed sitting unclaimed on the table. The free checklist with 5 expiring senior tax deductions is waiting for you in the description right below this video. Go and grab it before you forget. It pays for itself many times over and costs you absolutely nothing. Let me leave you with this final thought before I ask you to do one simple thing. The criminals running these scams and the institutions quietly making all of these changes are every single one of them counting on the exact same thing. They are counting on you not knowing, and they are counting on you being too proud or too embarrassed to ask for help or admit uncertainty. You just learned all 6, so they have already lost with you. But here is the thing. There is someone in your life who has not seen this video yet. A parent, a neighbor, a friend from church, someone over 65 who is sitting in their home right now with a card they have never once locked, and a phone that is about to ring with a scammer on the other end. So do one thing for me. send this video to that person. Pass it on. Because the odds are very real that they are just one phone call away from losing money they can never recover. And 3 minutes of your time and a single share could be the thing that saves them. That is what this channel is here to do. I will see you in the next one.